beautiful Thursday morning in the city of Abeokuta, capital of Ogun State, as usual with the intro like that. On the program, newspaper headlines today from BGI TV Current. Live, we are here for the daybreak newspaper headline. Let me say it that way. My name still remains Morire Rabila Lawal. It's very, very cold here this morning, and I believe some people cuddle before coming to the office this morning. I no go mention name.
Well, I say lovely morning to all our viewers around the world, and my name remains Sigi Olalekon. Here with me on Papers Review for this morning, I have Nigerian Tribune, Daily Post, and The Nation newspapers.
As usual, like my regular trade back, I'm with the Punch newspaper and the Vanguard. And the very first story coming from my side is coming from the CBN. Likewise, some other stories like the one from Ogun State. Hoodlums steal shawarma, kill Ogun landlord after face-off. Tinubu suspends Efcc chair indefinitely. Orders probe is presently at the DSS custody. I'm talking about Abdulrasheed Bawa. Prosecutes Justice Bolkachua's husband, NBA, tells FG. These are my riders on the Punch newspaper this morning.
And from the Nigerian Tribune, continuity brings stability. Tinubu urged to resist sacking Buhari's appointees.
All right, I'm going straight with my own first rider from the Punch newspaper, which has a first thing. The Central Bank of Nigeria has directed deposit money banks to remove the rate cap on the Naira at the National Official Investors and Exporters window of the foreign exchange market to allow for a free flow of the national currency against the dollar and other global currencies. This came barely 2 weeks after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised to unify the nation's multiple exchange rates, and less than a week before the suspension and detention of the then CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, whose unorthodox monetary policies had become a stumbling block to investors and the economy. The CBN's decision to float the currency was hailed by the organized private sector and economists who said the move would unify the country's multiple exchange rates and bring sanitize the FX market. The rider is currency floating. Private sector economists back CBN as Naira falls to 664 Naira per dollar.
And going through the Nigerian Tribune, continuity brings stability. Tinubu ought to resist sacking Buhari's appointees. The Forum of Civil Society Organization in Nigeria has urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu not to give in to any form of pressure to sack federal government appointees inherited from the Buhari's administration. The forum was reacting to call by certain group and individual urging the president to sack some government appointees. In a statement sent to journalists on Wednesday, June 14, 2023, and signed by its convener, Comrade Friday Maduka, the group advised President Tinubu to adopt a continuity policy. And the rider, continuity brings stability. Tinubu urged to resist sacking Buhari's appointees.
A landlord, Akinola Agbede, has been allegedly hacked to death by hoodlums who invaded his residence in a street in the Ajunwo area of Akute, a border in Ogun and Lagos State. Information gathered that hoodlums penetrated and perpetrated the crime after Agbede reprimanded 2 suspects who were apprehended for stealing shawarma at a shop close to his residence. A resident in the area who begged for his name not to be mentioned for security reasons while chronicling the circumstances surrounding Agbede's death, told correspondent that the 2 suspects, after being cautioned and released by elders in the community, allegedly mobilized the hoodlums to attack the deceased at his residence. Prior to the attack, the source said the suspects had threatened to cut Agbede's hand for hitting one of them when they were being paraded in the community for stealing shawarma. The rider is coming from the Punch newspaper. Hoodlums steal shawarma, kill Ogun landlord after face-off.
And from Daily Post, boat accident. Kwara goes tough with new safety guidelines on water travels. Kwara State Government on Wednesday announced plan for a legislation that will impose punishment and fine for violation and safety protocols on water travels in the state. The proposed legislation will be sent to the parliament, according to Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, during a condolence visit to the families of victims of last Monday boat accident disaster, which claims about 106 lives. The victims, including 144 survivors, are mostly from Patagi communities, according to local authority and the state police. Accompanied by Senator Sadiq Umar, House of Representative member of Patagi State constituency, Honorable Mohammed Karim and Honorable Ahmed Adam Rafi Abdulrasheed first headed to the palace of the Etus Patagi, who then joined the governor to visit the riverine communities affected in the accident. According to the rider, both accidents, Kwara goes off with new safety guidelines on water travels.
Within 14 days, or let me say 15 days precisely in office, we're having regular electricity, though some parts are not enjoying it. I don't want to mention them. And also, we're having no noise of generating sets. And also, even the industries around our places, like the place at Songwater, that they used to, definitely they should be buying their fuel, their diesel at exorbitant rates, but I believe Sucor is coming soon. The next man to be suspended and arrested is the EFCC chair. It looks so innocent, but we do not have any iota of truth as regards why he's being arrested. Similar to that of Emefiele, whose actions brought trauma and death, untimely death, to innocent Nigerians. Now, his house was raided, stopped dollars, naira, currencies, vehicles, like someone selling cars. It's such a shame that Emefiele stands the only CBN governor to have spent 9 years in office. Others have had 4 years, 5 years. And from the record book, I can remember vividly very well the reigns of Charles Soludo, who is now the governor of Anambra State.
Exactly.
There was no time we ever had any issue with CBN concerning their operations, their policies, everything. If there's going to be any policy to be implemented, it will surely come out to the public, explain it to a layman's understanding, and how effective it will run. But that of Emefiele is now under interrogation. Likewise, Bawa. Let me bring out the story about Bawa's arrest.
Okay.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has indefinitely suspended the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrasheed Bawa, from office. The Director of Information in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Willie Bassi, who stated this in a statement on Wednesday, disclosed that the suspension was meant to ensure investigations into weighty allegations of abuse of office against the suspended EFCC chairman. Former President Muhammadu Buhari had in February 2021 appointed Bawa as the EFCC chairman following the removal of his predecessor Ibrahim Magu over allegations of corruption. What is the difference? They go there because it is a national cake. Let me dip my hands into it and dip my body into it. I wonder if the people who took hold of office are the ones bending and killing the orders and law of the land.
Well, Moiri, in order to respond to your question, if you look at it, you come to realize that, like I used to say, that Nigeria is an arena of comedy. Just like what you said, you know, the person that was put in charge to make sure that he monitor the activities of various agencies is still the one that is going ahead to engage himself in, you know, corruption and things like that. And like the case of Charles Soludo, I think I gave it to him. It was during this time that we had this consolidation, marginalization of banking industry, and it really go ahead to really help Nigerians very well. But if you look at the case of Bawa, I think there is still more to it, because I remember, was it not last year, some civil society organization came on board and were like, they want to know how far all the assets, properties that have been, you know, collected from Dezani Madueke and the rest of them who are victims of, you know, all those corruptions. That what has EFCC done with those things, and in terms of maybe returning it back to the treasury, converting it to monetary terms and things like that. But you know, there was no response, no answer for all those things. But the only thing we only know is that, well, the EFCC said they are working, you know, and other agencies too. But we have not really seen the positive impact in the life of Nigerians. You know, when you collect corrupt funds from people, you have to return it back
to the treasury.
Which means that it's going to manifest in the economy itself.
Exactly.
But such thing is not, is not occurring. So I think the president has done the right thing. And I also think that this administration, maybe they have a joker. Let's just put all on deck and see what is going to happen. And just to add to what you said, from my own headline here, I just want to also inform you that Bawa was not only suspended, he has been invited by DSS, like the headline I have here. DSS invites suspended EFCC chairman Bawa. The Department of State Service, DSS, on Wednesday night invited the suspended chairman of the EFCC, Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, Mr. Abdulrasheed Bawa, for questioning. A statement signed by the agency's public relations officer, Peter Afunaya, confirmed that Bawa arrived a few hours ago. It noted that the invitation related to some investigative activities concerning him. Bawa was earlier in the day suspended by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over wealthy allegation of abuse of office levied against him. He was directed to immediately hand over the affairs of his office to the Director of Operation in the Commission, who will oversee the affairs of the office of the chairman of the commission pending the conclusion of the investigation. And that's according to the writer from Daily Post. DSS invites suspended EFCC chairman Bawa.
All right, the next writer from the Punch newspaper, Prosecute Justice Bolkachuwa's husband, NBA, tells FG. The Nigerian Bar Association on Monday asked the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, and the Independent Corrupt Processes and Other Related Offences Commission to immediately invite and prosecute Senator Adamu Bolkachuwa over the latest admissions at the floor of the Senate on June 12, 2023. Information reports that Bolkachuwa, who was a senator representing Bauchi South in the 9th National Assembly during the valedictory session, said that he influenced judicial decisions in favor of some senators, while his wife, Justice Zainab Bolkachuwa, was president of the Court of Appeal. The senator had said, "My wife, whose freedom and independence are encroached upon while she was in office, and she has been very tolerant and accepted my encroachment and extended her help to my colleagues." Reacting after the 102 meeting of the National Judicial Council on Wednesday, the NBA President Yakubu Maikyau, in a statement, noted that the Senator Bolkachuwa's statement made him liable to be investigated and prosecuted even on his admission. It's so shameful that many of Nigerian leaders are not seeing themselves with their utterances and actions as a shame and insult to the whole wild world. In the sense that you are a senator and your wife was the president of Court of Appeal, and you have that boldness, you have that vigor, you have that spirit of loss of brain and loss of mind to come speak nationally during the valedictory session that you influenced judicial decision in favor of some senators while your wife, Justice Zainab Bolkachuwa, was president of the Court of Appeal. And this man sees himself as a senator, a Nigerian senator. What has come to their level of thinking and reasoning? Someone as aged as he is, with grey hair, without deep thinking before utterance. How can you say you influence? Definitely all of you senators and ministers are corrupt leaders. You're just after your own pocket and selfish interest alone. But they can't even learn from other people who have come and gone. They weren't buried with all of this stolen money. Where is Desiree today? Is she enjoying her freedom? The only ex-minister during President Obasanjo I can say who is still active till today at the World Bank is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Exactly.
And if not for the death of former NAFDAC chairperson, this woman,
Dora Akunyili.
Even
We even have the likes of Akiwumi Adeshi.
Exactly.
Former Minister for Agriculture.
And imagine the one that was forced out of the Ministry of Finance from Ogun State, Adeosun.
Okay, Kemi Adeosun.
You can imagine.
Quite unfortunate. Moire, you know what? I'm not really surprised for hearing what the senator just said. You know, it's let's say it's a usual trademark in Nigeria, and that is exactly the reason why, you know, anytime there is judgment in the court of law, what I do is that I take my time to study what is going to happen immediately after the judgment, Just like if you look at the case of Adedoyin and the rest of them in Oshobo.
Yes.
Now, a judgment has been passed. But let's look at it as time goes on, as the unfolding events takes place. Let us look at what's going to happen to the judgment. Because at times, these Nigerian so-called people that we see as they call themselves big boys and things like that.
Sacred cows.
They have people that, help them in government to make sure that they overturn most of the things.
Just like the shameful senator from Bauchi saying he influenced judicial decisions.
Can you just imagine?
A senator influencing a judiciary matter, a matter in the court of law, court of appeal of that height, just because they are your colleagues.
But what I want to say is that in respect of that, I think this current administration should revisit all the cases that the wife has done, so that they can see how they can make amendments on some of those things.
And why I'm speaking like this, like I'm touched, like I'm vexed, is that these people are disgraceful. They are shameless. They do not have the fear of God. Because you are celebrating a valedictory session, does that make you a sacred cow that the law cannot touch?
Exactly.
There's no immunity that stopped the law from catching up with all of these people.
Exactly.
If some of them are taken into custody and no one tries to even listen to them for some period of years, all of these corruption practices would have come to an end in this country.
That's it.
And my rider on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, Naira depreciates to 664 Naira per dollar. CBN lifts restriction. The Naira yesterday lost almost half of its value in the official market as the exchange rate in the investors and exporters I&E window rose to 664 Naira per dollar from 471 Naira 67 kobo per dollar on Tuesday as the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN announced measures to liberalize the market, including the elimination of multiple exchange rates and freedom for banks to buy and sell foreign exchange at any rate based on a willing buyer and willing seller arrangement. The rider is Naira depreciates to 664 Naira per dollar as CBN lifts restriction on the Vanguard newspaper.
And from the Nigerian Tribune, Muhammad Umar Abba is acting EFCC chairman. President Bola Tinubu suspended Abdulrasheed Bawa, the Economic and Financial Crime Commission EFCC chairman, on Wednesday due to serious charges of abuse of power. According to a statement from the office of the SGF, the suspension would allow for a thorough examination of his behavior while in office as a result of some serious claims of abuse of authority made against him by certain stakeholders in the anti-corruption fight. Following his suspension, Bawa was ordered to immediately hand over his office affairs to the agency's Director of Operation, Muhammad Umar Abba, who will manage the affairs of EFCC Chairman's office. And according to the rider, Muhammad Umar Abba is acting EFCC Chairman.
The next rider I'm having here is coming from the Vanguard newspaper. Disengaged workers draw 12 billion naira from pension savings. The story is coming as labor market continues to tighten. More disengaged workers are now taking solace in their pension savings with heavy withdrawals. Also, many professionals that have transferred their services abroad are said to be besieging the pension account for withdrawals. Consequently, a total of 12.7 billion naira was withdrawn by disengaged workers from their retirement savings account (RSA) in the fourth quarter of 2023. The rider once again, job losses. Disengaged workers draw 12 billion naira from pension savings.
And from the Nation newspaper, student loan law takes off in September. The implementation of the student loan scheme will kick off in September. Permanent Secretary Education David Adejo said yesterday. He said students in public and private run institutes will benefit from the scheme. Adejo told reporters in Abuja that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed an interministerial committee to work out the modalities for the implementation of the scheme. President Tinubu had signed into law the student law bill in fulfillment of one of his campaign promises. The student loan bill, sponsored by the Speaker of the 9th Senate House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, provided for the interest-free loan to indigent students. The law is expected to facilitate ease access to higher education by the indigent student. and according to the rider, student loan laws takes off in September.
On the student loan law, lecturers in the nation's universities and polytechnics have warned the federal government not to toy with the idea of increasing tuition fees by hiding under the guise that it has set up a student loan scheme through which students can source for money to finance their education. This is just as the lecturers expressed doubt about the workability of the scheme given the condition that the beneficiaries should start to repay 2 years after completing their National Youth Service Scheme (NYSC) in the face of difficulties by graduates in securing jobs after graduation. Defaulting in the repayment of loan or aiding to default attract a fine of 500,000 naira or 2 years imprisonment or both. The scheme starts in September this year, according to the federal government yesterday. The rider once again, student loan, ASUP, say no to tuition fee hike.
Now, Moriri, let's come to think of this. From the Nigerian Tribune, there is this news which the headline has to say that continuity brings stability. Now, some civil society are explaining, they are trying to protest, and at the same time they met with the federal government that the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not sack any of the appointees of the previous government. That will help to enhance the continuity and to further help in developing the country. What do you see to this, and what is your take on that?
My advice to the current administration is that all of those appointees are not working to the interest of Nigeria and Nigerians. If they need to be sacked, rather, let them get sacked. Let them leave the office for better hands and better godly minded to come into office and do the needful. They've been instrumental to the crumbling state of Nigeria economy, backwardness in our educational sector, backwardness to infrastructural development, backwardness when it comes to health care services, backwardness when it comes to youth employment scheme, backwardness to so many things, the MDAs, the commissions, all of them. Imagine if the CBN governor can be suspended and arrested. Now, Efcc chairperson is being suspended and arrested. Mele Kyari from NNPCL suspended. All of these heads, they are all appointees. Definitely, Adi Sirika should be the next to be arrested. And not forgetting, former Kano State Governor, they should forget about party. He needs to be questioned and arrested because a video captured him while he was taking dollars into his pockets. Umaru Ganduje, exactly. Former Kano State Governor. Exactly. And even the President for a state governor needs to be arrested.
That's Matawali.
Yes, he needs to be arrested because after the arrest of Emefiele, there was a link that we got to hear that concerns him to be the bank collecting stolen money. So all of these people, if they are not meant to be in the office, let the permanent secretaries of every commission stand in and take charge.
Okay, just like what you said, let's look at this from this angle. The comrade Maduka was saying that Bola Tinubu administration should, look into the continuity and maybe to some extent allow the appointees that works with the previous administration to still remain in office. Just look at the case of the Minister for Education, Adamu. Look at the last statement he made the other time, that he does not have the knowledge of what it takes to be an education minister. Are these kind of the people we want to live in office?
That is why I say all of the Buhari's appointees needs to be arrested. How can you be assigned to a duty of a national height and you are out of office, out of tenure, and you are saying it without manners or remorse that yes, you're not qualified to be an education minister, and all you did during that 4 years plus thereabout, because he wasn't the minister for education from 2015. Like I want to, if I stand to be corrected, what was his action? He went out to hire professors of education to surround him and guide him through. If you are being given an employment and you know your capacity is not 100% assured on this assignment, why not just drop it? Let good hands, qualified candidates take charge. After finishing your tenure, and you now come out boldly and say you weren't, or when the time of the employment, you knew within yourself that you're not capable. Definitely, you have killed the ministry. You have killed the sector.
Exactly.
That is why we're having backwardness when it comes to JAM, when it comes to WAEC, when it comes to NECO. For some decades now, you can't find Nigerian university as world ranked university from 1 to 20. It's not there. Even within Africa. When it comes to WAEC, West African Examination Council, which carries all of West African countries,
exactly.
Where is Nigeria? All of these things are just disgraceful and dramatic. It is all about a statement coming out from the sick head we have in this country. So my next story coming from the immediate past governor of Kano State. The immediate past governor of Kano State, Abdulrasheed, has asked a high court in the state to perpetually restrain the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, from inviting or investigating him over video clips allegedly showing him receiving dollars from a contractor. If truly he wasn't receiving those dollars, are you telling me it was a photo shoot or a Photoshop that showed him taking dollars? Okay, fine. If you are taking dollars from somewhere to your pocket, wasn't that place his own governor's office?
Exactly.
Now let me go further. The clips trended on social media in 2018. Information came out. The clips allegedly showed the former governor receiving bundles of dollar notes, and stuffing them inside his flowing dress known as Barbariga. While the governor debunked the content of the videos, the Kano House of Assembly subsequently set up a committee to investigate the allegations. It is a welcome idea. So the rider dollar video probe, Ganduje seeks restraining injunction against EFCC.
Morire, you know one thing. I think I'm sick and tired of this immunity clause that protects those that occupies, executive post. Because I believe that if this immunity clause is not there, you understand, you are caught in the act, immediately you have to face the consequences. But when things like this happen, the next thing you hear is that, okay, as a governor of the state, he has immunity clause, if he did not leave the office, there is no way he can be questioned and things like that. This thing took place in 2018, and now we are in 2023. Is he going to go scot-free?
I wonder.
Now, they should allow justice to prevail, and that's just it. As soon as they are leaving office, they should just hand them over to the DSS and let them carry on with their work. If they know that, okay, they are not really victim of this act, then they should just go to the court and explain themselves and
Exactly.
make themselves clean out of it. Let's look at this story. It's a sad story, but it's an upcoming complementary to the event that happened in Kwara State yesterday.
Okay.
Both accidents. Kwara goes off with new safety guidelines on water travels. Now, come to think of it, do we say government has not really been cognizant of the waterways or things like that? Because I look at it that, there must have been some rules and regulation in place before this event happens. And apart from that, there will be some government officials along the riverine area that need to monitor the activities of those, boat riders and some other things. If they are there and they know their duty, I think such thing wouldn't have happened in the first place.
Exactly.
But what is your take on that?
Truly, I need to speak the truth. Aside the transportation on our waters,
Okay.
our major roads, the only time you see Federal Road Safety Corps or Nigeria Police personnel on the highway is either you see their roadblocks for collection of money, not their statutory duty. That's number one. Then the people in charge of good roads construction, they are not there. Number 3, federal safety are supposed to be in charge of safety on the highways, on the road, maintenance of driving, and driving with a staff or a public servant fails in discharging his duty, he resigns, or he gets sacked and go to court to face queries. But in Nigeria, we have never experienced any public service, any public servant resigning that I quit, except Kemi Adesina. Sorry, I beg your pardon, Adeosun. By some chances, I got to understand that probably maybe she was frustrated out of the office. But if there are measures at these our rivers, and the boats, the canoes on such rivers are maintained or stabilized, like, okay, these are the ones we want on the water, not just old canoes with wooden structures and stuff. And mind you, Nigerians too, we need to cut our takes and stands. When they left Kwara for Niger, they went successfully.
Exactly.
They are coming back was when this boat had this accident. Why would you get overloaded? I'm not sure if the boat is a mechanized boat that they need to power the engine and use it. Why? May their soul rest in peace. Let everything be put in place. I tell you, there will be no accident or few accidents whenever we have a trip either on the major road or on the waters. That's my submission.
And to all our viewers out there, if you are just joining us, this is BGI TV Current as we take you through the dailies for this morning, and it has been a wonderful time. As we are running up, Muriri, let us quickly look at this headline from the Nation newspaper, the student loan. What is your take on the student loan? Because I from the dailies we discovered that both the public and private school will benefit from this initiative, and to the new administration that is just coming on board introducing this, what do you see to it?
It is a relief, and at least it will cut short the normal and frequent ASU strike, which I believe the student loan is here to stay, and we should all embrace it and see how things work with our student loan. We shouldn't be at first agitating or condemning a policy. Let us try it and see the effects on Nigerians.
Although from my own point of view, I think the indigent students will be a so-called, just like what you said, it's going to relieve the indigent students, those that their parents cannot even afford to send them to school. And I think it's a brilliant idea from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, introducing this bill and at the end of the day bringing it to law, which will help Nigerian citizens as a whole. So from my own end here, Muriri.
My own is that we should stay out of trouble and try to do the needful at our offices and drive safely when going back home. Or probably you do not have a car or a rider, kindly pick up the nearest car which you know is in safe hands to take you home. May the Lord continually guide and protect us and allow this new breath to continually grow in Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. My name is Morire Rabila Lawal.
And I believe it has been a wonderful time this morning going through the dailies with us on BGI TV Current. My name remains Ige Olalekon. I wish you best luck ahead of the day. Bye-bye.